London, and what is being rebuilt beneath its streets, inside its data centers, and across its neighborhoods will determine how this city competes for the next 50 years. In the next few minutes, we will move through 12 projects, simultaneously rewiring how London powers itself, processes data, and reinvents its urban fabric, each one building greater force than the last. Let's begin with the invisible foundation holding everything above it together. Number 12. London Power Tunnels Phase 2. 32.5 kilometers beneath South London, a network of deep tunnels carries nearly 200 kilometers of high-voltage cable through geology that most of the city above it has never considered. Construction began in 2020. By 2025, key sections were already energized, quietly transferring the capital's electrical backbone into infrastructure capable of meeting the demands that the next several decades will place on it. The engineering scale mirrors what railways require, deployed entirely out of public sight. No cranes, no disrupted skylines, no public spectacle marking the progress of a project whose completion will be felt rather than seen. These tunnels reduce the surface disruption that conventional cable replacement requires, increase the resilience of a distribution network that was showing the strain of decades of demand growth, and create the headroom that London needs as electric vehicles, data centers, and population growth compound simultaneously against a grid that was not designed for any of them. The foundation of a city's future is almost always invisible. London Power Tunnels Phase 2 is the most literal expression of that principle in the capital today. Number 11. Bitter Street Hyperscale Data Center. In East London, a £750 million facility is being constructed that represents what urban infrastructure looks like in the era of artificial intelligence. Planned at around 80 megawatts of IT capacity, the Bitter Street Data Center is not simply a large building full of servers, it is an economic anchor, a power hub, and a technological nerve center whose presence reshapes the productive capacity of the surrounding district. The detail that most commentary passes over is the waste heat recovery system planned for the facility. The enormous thermal output generated by server operations, energy that conventional data centers simply discharge into the atmosphere, is being routed to warm nearby homes. Heat that would otherwise represent pure waste becomes part of the urban energy ecosystem, reducing heating costs for residents while improving the overall energy efficiency of an infrastructure investment that would otherwise carry a significant environmental footprint. This is where digital infrastructure begins merging with daily life in ways that the first generation of data centers never attempted. Number 10. AWS London Region Expansion. Across multiple locations whose specific addresses are never publicly confirmed, £8 billion of Amazon Web Services investment is expanding cloud infrastructure capacity across the United Kingdom between 2024 and 2028, with significant volumes of that capacity entering service in London through 2025 and 2026. This is not a building, it is a distributed system of availability zones, edge locations, and computing clusters that collectively power governments, financial institutions, healthcare systems, and industries whose operations have become structurally dependent on cloud infrastructure that most of their customers never think about. The contrast with physical construction is instructive. A skyscraper defines a skyline and houses a few thousand workers. The AWS expansion defines the economic operating environment for thousands of enterprises simultaneously, enabling capabilities that the physical infrastructure of London's offices, hospitals, and transport networks increasingly cannot function without. Invisible infrastructure has become indistinguishable from critical national infrastructure, and London's cloud capacity expansion is the clearest evidence of that transition happening in real time. Number 9. Brent Cross Town. 180 acres of North London are being converted into something that did not previously exist in this part of the city, an entirely new urban district built around the Brent Cross West station that connects the area directly into national rail infrastructure, delivering thousands of homes, offices, retail spaces, and public parks in a development that is essentially constructing a new town within London's existing boundaries. The significance of the project lies in its departure from the development model that previously defined the area. Brent Cross was built around retail. The regeneration replacing it is built around mixed-use density, integrating living, working, and transit connectivity in proportions that reflect how urban residents actually want to inhabit cities, rather than how planners of a previous generation assumed they would. The strategic insight is geographic rather than architectural. London is not expanding outward into greenbelt land. It is densifying inward, finding underdeveloped urban acreage and rebuilding it at the intensity that a growing, transit-connected population can sustain. Brent Cross Town is one of the clearest examples of that strategy being executed at meaningful scale. Number 8. London Data Center Capacity Surge. Between 2025 and 2026 alone, London is adding an estimated 373 megawatts of new data center capacity across multiple developments simultaneously, pushing total regional capacity from approximately 2.45 gigawatts toward 2.77 gigawatts within a single year. The rate of growth is the figure that demands attention. This expansion is more than double the pace recorded across the previous two-year period, driven by the compound effect of artificial intelligence infrastructure requirements, cloud computing growth, and the digitization of industries that previously operated on physical systems. Data centers have crossed a threshold from specialist infrastructure serving technology companies to essential urban infrastructure as fundamental as roads, water mains, and electricity grids. A city that cannot provide sufficient data center capacity loses competitiveness in ways that no amount of physical regeneration can compensate for. London's coordinated capacity surge is the recognition that digital infrastructure has permanently joined the list of things a global city must provide to remain a global city. Number 7. Stratford and Newham Regeneration Cluster. The 2012 Olympics transformed a significant area of East London from industrial periphery to urban centerpiece. But the legacy projects that followed have proven as transformative as the games themselves. Multiple developments across Stratford and Silvertown, each valued between 160 and 180 million pounds, are converting the remaining industrial land and underdeveloped sites in this corridor into residential and employment districts that would have been unrecognizable to anyone familiar with the area before 2012. The Millennium Mills redevelopment captures the character of the transformation most vividly. A structure that spent years as an abandoned industrial landmark is being converted into a mixed-use development that preserves the building's architectural presence while completely reimagining its function. Industrial heritage becomes the foundation for the kind of distinctive urban environment that attracts residents and businesses who have alternatives. East London's regeneration is no longer the story of post-Olympic recovery. It is the story of a sustained urban transformation that the Olympic investment made possible, but that has long since developed its own momentum. Number 6. 60 Gracechurch Street and ITV Studio Rebuild. Two separate £500 million projects beginning major construction phases in 2026 are redefining what central London's commercial landscape offers to the organizations that occupy it. In the City of London, 60 Gracechurch Street is rising as a flagship office development, engineered for the hybrid working patterns and advanced connectivity requirements that occupiers now treat as baseline expectations rather than premium features. On the South Bank, the ITV Studios site is being completely rebuilt to support modern media production at a scale and technical standard that the existing buildings cannot accommodate. The combined significance is not the sum of two commercial developments. It is the evidence they provide that London's central districts are not simply maintaining their position, they're actively upgrading the quality of their commercial offering to compete with the new developments in cities whose own ambitions have grown considerably over the past decade. Number 5. Grafton Street and New Bond Street redevelopment. In Mayfair, £440 million is being invested in re-engineering one of the world's most expensive retail districts from the ground up. Construction began in 2026 across a project targeting high-end retail, luxury hospitality, and premium mixed-use space in a location where every square meter carries a commercial value that few addresses anywhere in the world can match. The project is not about expanding Mayfair's footprint, it is about elevating the quality of the physical environment to match the tier of commerce it serves. Global luxury brands and the international visitors who seek them out are operating in a market where the physical experience of the retail environment is itself a commercial product. Grafton Street and New Bond Street are being rebuilt to compete at the top of that market rather than simply to maintain their existing position within it. While digital infrastructure grows in silence underground, this project amplifies London's global luxury identity in the most visible possible way. Both dimensions are essential to the city's competitive position.
Number 4. 140 Bastion House, an Old Street Tech City Tower. Two major office developments anchoring London's technology corridor, valued at £437 million and £300 million respectively, began construction in early 2026 with a specific commercial target in mind. The fintech companies, artificial intelligence enterprises, and high-growth startups that generate a disproportionate share of London's economic dynamism need physical infrastructure that matches their operational requirements. Old Street has carried the Silicon Roundabout identity for years, but the density and verticality of the innovation ecosystem it houses is increasing significantly as these towers rise. The strategic consequence extends beyond the buildings themselves. Innovation clusters generate economic value through proximity effects, the informal knowledge exchange, talent concentration, and commercial relationships that form when many companies working at the frontier of the same technology operate within walking distance of each other. Denser, taller, better connected buildings intensify those proximity effects. London's technology corridor is not simply adding office space, it is deepening the conditions that make it globally competitive as an innovation location. Number 3. 120 Fleet Street redevelopment. At £429 million, the reconstruction of one of London's most historically significant commercial addresses represents a transition that carries symbolic weight beyond its physical scale. Fleet Street spent a century as the geographic and cultural heart of British print media. The industry that defined it has largely departed. The buildings that housed it are being rebuilt for the digital economy that replaced it. Construction began in 2026, converting outdated commercial infrastructure into high-density mixed-use space designed for the organizations and working patterns of the present rather than the industries of the past. The heritage of the address is not being erased, it is being transferred to a different economic context. Maintaining Fleet Street's position is a significant commercial location while reorienting its function entirely. This is the pattern repeating across multiple London districts simultaneously. Historic significance does not protect a location from obsolescence. Active reinvestment does. Fleet Street's redevelopment is the mechanism by which the address remains relevant in an economy organized around entirely different industries than those that built its reputation. Number 2. 50 Fenchurch Street, Hanging Gardens. In the heart of the City of London's financial district, £400 million is being invested in a commercial development whose defining characteristic is the integration of significant green space within one of the densest urban environments in Europe. Construction began in 2025 and continues through 2026, introducing publicly accessible gardens and reimagined workspaces into a location where every square meter has historically been optimized for commercial yield rather than environmental quality. The design philosophy embedded in the project reflects a shift in how occupiers evaluate office environments that has been accelerating since the pandemic reorganized the relationship between workers and their workplaces. Productivity is no longer assumed to be a function of desk density and floor plate efficiency. It is increasingly understood as something shaped by the quality of the environment in which work happens. Greenery, natural light, and accessible public space within a financial district are no longer luxury features added to attract premium tenants. They are evidence-based responses to what actually sustains the performance of the people working in them. 50 Fenchurch Street is the City of London acknowledging that transformation explicitly in steel, glass, and growing things. Number 1.
the convergence of infrastructure, data, and urban reinvention. There is no single project at the summit of this list, because the most important thing happening in London in 2026 is not any individual development, it is the convergence of all of them into a system. Energy tunnels running beneath South London power the data centers rising above East London. Those data centers support the cloud infrastructure enabling the financial services, technology companies, and media organizations occupying the commercial developments being built across the City and South Bank. The regeneration districts absorbing population growth in Stratford and Brent Cross are served by the rail connectivity and digital infrastructure that makes dense urban living viable for the residents choosing to locate there. The luxury redevelopments in Mayfair maintain the global image that attracts the international capital funding everything else. Each layer of the transformation depends on the others. Digital infrastructure without reliable power distribution fails. Commercial development without digital connectivity loses occupiers to better connected competitors. Urban regeneration without transport and data infrastructure produces housing that no one wants to live in. The system only works because every component is being upgraded simultaneously. London is not building projects, it is engineering a future in which infrastructure, technology, and urban design operate as a single integrated machine, each element multiplying the value of everything connected to it. That convergence is what makes the transformation inevitable, irreversible, and unlike anything the city has attempted before. From deep power tunnels to hanging gardens, from hyperscale data centers to luxury retail reinvention, London's 12 transformations reveal a city that understands exactly what global competitiveness requires in the decade ahead and is building all of it at once. The scale is deliberate, the coordination is real, and by the time these projects reach completion, the London they produce will be faster, denser, more connected, and more strategically positioned than the one that existed when the first tunnel boring machine broke ground. If this breakdown gave you a clearer picture of what London is becoming, like the video, share it, and subscribe for more deep investigations into the cities rebuilding themselves for the future. Which of these 12 transformations do you believe will have the greatest long-term impact on London's global position?